Whoops. Okay, guys, this is Yard Wellington, the Narc-Bully expert. I do some of these reviews now. I'm adding to my channel, which are just kind of like fair use act videos where I do reviews. Those of you who know me know that I am a emotional abuse specialist. I specialize in narcissistic personality disorders, sociopathy, psychopathy, malignant narcissism, abuse. And one of the things you'll hear a lot from people is just get over it. It's not that bad. Just get over it. Maybe you're making it up. Maybe you deserve that. They gaslight you. They invalidate you, right? That's why there's a high suicide ratio with this. That's why people put a gun in their mouth and blow the brains out of their back of their head, because a lot of times the people around them wouldn't listen to them. They were hurting. They had a very legit hurt. And a lot of the research has shown, if you look at the work of like Shahida Arabi, who has actually studied a lot of the scientific research on the neuroplasticity of the brain, what we find is that with emotional and a verbal abuse, it activates the same pain receptors as physical pain. So if I burn you with cigarette lighter or burn you with cigarettes, which would suck, or I constantly inflict emotional abuse, although, I mean, this will hurt physically, the pain receptors in the brain that receive that pain, are the same ones as physical pain when someone's emotionally abused. And so that's the idea of abusing someone. The goal is to inflict pain. Now, there's a couple of reasons they do this. One is because it's like a drug. Watching people get hurt gets them off. I'm sorry to say it. Pardon the expression, but it gives them a proverbial hard-on. Even psychopaths, I don't know why people are so enamored with these shows about serial killers and what makes them tick. Anybody who studied narcissistic abuse knows what makes them tick. They lack empathy, they lack a moral compass, they lack conscience, and they often get off. Oh, Jesus Christ, my ding got hard from inflicting pain. There's something really wrong with these people. Now, gullible people don't want to believe people like that exist. And what they're doing is they're projecting their own good qualities. Because I wouldn't do it, you wouldn't do it. Yeah, I wouldn't shoot up a school, but that doesn't mean that other people wouldn't. I mean, it's really kind of a stupid thing. I wouldn't rob a bank, but that doesn't mean anybody would. But on the other hand, the way we project our good qualities onto other people who are vile and pieces of crap, the vile pieces of crap often project their bad qualities onto us. They're the cheaters, so they call us cheater. They're stealing money, so they call us the thief. They're abusive, so they say, you're the bullet, you're hurting me. And so what it is they take their toxic, vile shite, and they project it on you. I should be punished for the way I act. All right? So there's reasons they abuse people, right? In the workplace, take for example workplace bullying, which is my specialty. A workplace bully can't come punch you in the face. Number one, they're usually moral cowards, right? I spent years as a boxer and a martial artist. If my bully at work were to punch me, I could dislocate both of his damn shoulders and kick in his ribs. He knows that you can't do that in the workplace. He knows there's state statutes against assault and battery. That's why he says things like, I really think your mom be funny if she died of breast cancer. Oh, God, that's a funny joke. And then when you're like, don't talk about my mom like that, he's like, oh, yeah, you're just so goddamn sensitive. Yeah, you're too goddamn sensitive. You can't take a joke. It was just a funny joke. I don't think there's anything joking about my mom dying of breast cancer that's funny. They think it's funny, not because the joke's funny, but because they know it hurt you, and that gets them high. And you'll hear it. It's called caustic humor. Anyway, so there's a lot of motivations for the reason people abuse other people. They usually pick targets that they think are nice or won't fight back, right? He's happy, he's nice to me, therefore he's weak. No, he's happy, he's nice, but he could also snap your freaking spine in 3 different places. But the bully hides behind, you can't do that at work, and the law won't let you do that, so he can do this emotional abuse. So usually do it in private and then deny that he did it, and then if you stand up to him, he'll smear your reputation, turn everyone against you. He has to punish you. 2 reasons they punish. One is for the sadistic, quote, the sadistic hard-on, the sexual arousal they get from inflicting pain. And I'm going to do a couple things on that next here. And the other reason is because they see you as a threat. So if you're in the workplace, you're the smartest guy, the friendliest guy, they got to get you out of there. How dare you? Sometimes it's just the fact that your gratitude, your humility, your friendliness with other people, your love for life pisses them off. I'm so vile and pissed off. I'm a creep. I screwed up 2 marriages because I abused my wife. I got fired from my last job at the other school district. Now I come in here and there's a happy son of a bitch like you. You need punishment, Jared. No, I'm not the one responsible for your misery, but they believe that you are, right? If you're happy, they're a pie in the sky. You're happy. It's your fault. You must be the reason I'm miserable. No, they don't understand that their self-loathing comes from within. It's not, but something outside of them triggers that hate, self-hate, and they have to destroy it. So that's one of the reasons they abuse. So let's look a little bit about abuse. Now, people will invalidate all the time. People say you're being abused. Oh, no, you're just making that up. You don't have it of Jesus. That's the one I absolutely hate from the church retards. Sorry to say that. Is that, you know what? You just got to forgive them like Jesus. Forgiveness is a great thing in context, but a lot of times when you offer them forgiveness, you can forgive from a distance. When you say you forgive you, I'll take you back, they'll just be like, you stupid sucker. You're so, in their minds, quote, you're so goddamn weak. You gave me permission to hit you again or rape you again or say bad things. Just how weak and stupid you are. Your goddamn kindness is so weak. You don't even know. That's the way they see the world. All right, so let's look about some of the way that emotional abuse actually traumatizes you. And it has been shown in scientific studies that it permanently damages the brain. Straight up, I have CPTSD. I won't lie about that. There's nothing I will ever do to get over CPTSD. But it's also become my superpower because being psychologically damaged from all these, everything from my dad's gritting teeth in my face to my boss putting his fist in my face and telling me I can't go to church or he'll fire my ass and ruin my career. That actually happened. To the slander and the lies being told about me and people sending me texts to commit suicide and blow my brains out. I am probably the biggest target for bullies. I have more arrows in my chest and back. I can use that. I can use that to help people, right? I can use that to help people deal with the situation. There's been times that I've almost committed suicide because everybody wanted me to, and they told me that I needed to. I needed that. I'm not going to kill myself. Pardon my French, I don't swear very much, but fuck you and the cockroach who gave you life. Fuck the cockroach who pushed you out of a rotten peach. What kind of person wakes up in the morning and says, I have a right to hurt God's creation? Oh, I know exactly who feels entitled to hurt God's creation. We're not dealing with that. All right, so let's go. Well, in the words of one of the YouTube channels I really like, let's go.
Hey Psych2Goers, welcome back to another Psych2Go video. Before we begin, we would like to thank you for all the love and support you've given us. Psych2Go's mission is to make mental health more accessible to everyone. Now, let's begin the video. Have you ever been concerned you could be a target of emotional abuse? Emotional abuse is defined as the continued and deliberate mistreatment of another person by psychological aggression, intimidation, coercion.
They want you to blow your brains out. That's what they're going for.
Emotional or verbal abuse is one of the most rampant but also most overlooked forms of abuse. Ever okay.
Whoops.
And it's something no one should ever have to go through.
It's very common in the workplace, right? Because although good people believe that they go to work to do a good job, other people go to work to look for people to target. He's nice for me, I can hurt him. Because they bring that, and I'm a nut. I'm a hateful-filled piece of shit. And they bring it into the workplace, and it's not about work to them. Work is a source of narcissistic supply where people can give them praises and tributes, or where they can lash out their rage on people like an emotional punching bag. They are there to hurt people, or either get praises and tributes and worship for their own image, or they're there to hurt people and take out their personal issues on them like an emotional punching bag. Let's go.
With this video, we hope to educate and offer support if you think you might be a victim of emotional abuse. Emotional abuse is often misunderstood and is also much more difficult to recognize. The negative impact it can have on your physical health, mental health, and emotional well-being should not be taken lightly.
Right, suicides, high suicide rates.
Let's discuss the 8 ways emotional abuse can cause upheaval and trauma in your life.
All right.
1. It takes a long time to recover from.
I'll never recover from
the emotional trauma that results from
emotional
abuse can be felt for much longer than any sort of physical pain.
You need to be punished.
Where physical
for my
pain
own
can eventually
misery,
heal, psychological scars
Kiss my
often stay with
you-know-what,
you
yard.
for life. It's hard to forget the hurtful things someone says to you, especially if this person was near and dear to your heart.
You're human garbage. You're a pile of crap. You're worthless. You're useless. Nothing you say has any importance. I will invalidate you. I will stonewall you. I will cut off ties. You will not. You will not bring your views and values, your point of view. It means nothing to me. I'm so goddamn above you. That's the way. Yep. They're going to control you and you must pay.
They ultimately betray your trust by humiliating you and belittling
They
you.
get off on it.
And
like
that kind of emotional pain
sorry about the
isn't easy to
language.
move
It's
on
just
from.
that's the way they're thinking.
Sometimes
so I'm
even
trying
the
to
mere
grab the way
memory
they're
of the
thinking.
event is enough to make someone re-experience that emotional type of hurt.
Right, that's your
all over
flashback.
again.
That's your flashback.
Most people don't understand what you've been through. It can be hard
Sorry.
to understand and is sometimes a difficult concept to grasp.
Right, that's your Vietnam flashback because that's one way you get PTSD, but from emotional abuse you get it too. Most people don't understand, but the problem is they won't listen, they invalidate. You just need to forgive like Jesus. You just need to get over it. You just need to move on and see the positive. In the meantime, you're this close to putting a pistol in your mouth and blowing your brains out because you feel like nobody in the world is listening to what you have to say. No one cares. No one takes it seriously. You're going to kill yourself because you're so at the end of your rope, and everybody's like, well, you're just not judging like Jesus in your heart. Why don't you shut your freaking pie hole? Why don't you shut your freaking pie hole if you don't know what the hell you're talking about? Start listening. People are hurting. We need to help them. And don't give me that it's part of God's plan crap. Jesus was a healer. He went and helped people. He didn't just start bouncing his butt in their face going, you're just judging people because you don't got Jesus up your big fat ass. Remember, he healed the lame and the blind, and then he healed people that couldn't hear and see, and he healed people with demons, which is usually synonymous with some sort of mental, something going on with the mind. Yeah. So he was healing people with mental issues too. Yeah, I thought, yeah, right. Anyway, let's get it right.
Many people remain ignorant of the way it can negatively affect your life.
Suicide?
And others tend to be much less sympathetic towards
I don't
emotional
care.
abuse
It's not my
victims
problem.
than they are towards physical abuse victims. Emotional suffering is personal, and it's not something other people can see on the surface. People are more likely to intervene and help you when you're being physically threatened than they are when they see you being verbally and emotionally.
That's debatable, though, even though, in a sense, I agree with her. Whoops. Hold on. In a sense, I agree. But on the other hand, now we're getting to the point where if somebody physically assaults somebody else, everybody's such a moral coward, they sit around and just film it for likes on Tinder, or what's that place called? TikTok? I get them all.
3. It gives you a negative outlook on life.
I haven't gotten there yet.
If you've ever fallen victim to emotional abuse,
I haven't gotten there yet.
Especially at a young age, it can do a lot to shape the way you view the world and those around you. Oftentimes, you tend to form a negative perspective on life, loneliness, emptiness, and hopelessness as you get older.
I'm still pretty happy and upbeat. I just know that certain people I can't be happy around because if they see that I'm happy, they're like, I gotta hurt you now because you shouldn't be happy. My second year of teaching, I had this big fat ass principal, big, ugly, dumb ape, stupider than a box of bricks. And he actually wrote me up. Actually, he had my boss write me up because I had told the kids we're going to sing Jingle Bells. We're going to do the formal concert. And then in the end, we're going to have a sing-along where we sing Jingle Bells and we get the audience singing with us, which the audience loved this, right? Everybody was happy. Again, this is where we're going to go. So I told the kids they could wear the Christmas hats, and we did. We did this in college. Now, my teacher, Dr. Guy Bedford Webb, was one of the best choir directors in the freaking United States before he retired. He was a Juilliard graduate and highly skilled. We did this in college. When I did it in the high school, the audience loved it, the kids loved it, I loved it, it was fun. But the principal got real mad and wrote and had my boss write me up where he said, well, it's very unprofessional for the kids to smile on stage. And if you do this again, your job is in jeopardy. Are you serious? But then it hit me because I didn't understand his mentality. You have an angry, miserable, 900-pound, big, ugly, fat-ass, cruel, mean, I hate life, yarg, coming in here with people that are happy. Do narcissists ever like happiness? No. They all needed to pay. Who's making them happy? I'm not happy. Who's making them happy? It's you. You need to be punished. There you go. All right, continue. That's what we're dealing with. Misery loves company.
If you
You better
were
be as
ignored,
miserable as me.
rejected, abandoned, manipulated, or isolated in any way as a child or an adolescent, it's going to leave you with a lot of emotional baggage. Or it gives you a negative view of yourself.
They want you to have that. I'm not
There's
there
no
yet.
arguing that both physical and emotional abuse can have very damaging and dangerous effects on a person.
They want you to hate yourself like they hate themselves. Here's one problem. I've got God. I've got Jesus Christ. who gave me Golden Gloves boxing, martial arts, the guitar, the piano, skydiving, traveling, the beach, and a great family. You should hate yourself. Why? Because I hate myself. In the words of the Polish, quote, not my circus, not my monkeys. Or somebody from Corpus Christi once said, quote, not my horse, not my manure.
But while the former robs you of your sense of safety and security, the latter has a way of messing with your head and tearing down your self-esteem.
That's their goal.
Emotional abuse is extremely detrimental to your sense of self-worth and self-confidence.
You must be
And it can
punished.
lead you to develop an inferiority complex.
Well,
It's hard to feel good about yourself when you have someone in your life who is constantly criticizing you
But
and
they do.
preying
That's
on
the
all
point.
of your insecurities.
What they're doing.
5. It has long-term...
Often they feel threatened by you, so they want to break you down, right? They're cutting down tall trees so that they can look bigger by... And this is what happens in the workplace a lot, right? Workplace bullying, and also in relationships where one partner feels threatened by the other.
Psychological effects. Do you have difficulty forming and maintaining close relationships with others?
Well,
and struggle
not
with
really until
matters
they
of
stab me in the
intimacy and
freaking
emotional
back.
security? Emotional abuse can bring out a sense of constant fear, dread, and anxiety.
Yep.
It can put you at a higher risk for depression and PTSD, as well.
Well, I'm already at PTSD. Oops, this sucks. I'm already at PTSD. I've had that for a long time. I get real triggered. I'm hyper vigilant. I'm always looking over my shoulder. My blood pressure's all real high. Will you have a heart attack and die so we can laugh? When God decides I'll have a heart attack and die. Until then, that'll be his call. But I want you to die. But then you'll just still be miserable. My death won't bring you happiness. You might laugh and tell some jokes about my, quote, bitch mom crying over his grave. Ha ha, we win, you lose, whatever that means. What are we competing against? I didn't agree to this. But in 3 days, you're going to be that self-loathing. You're still going to be a loser. You're going to be a self-loathing, miserable creep that needs to find a new target. It never ends with you. You're like a drug addict for hurting people, which is twisted and stupid, but I'll just consider the source.
As self-harm and suicidal behavior.
A lot of suicide.
People who have been emotionally abused can have a harder time controlling their emotions,
That's their goal.
which could lead to problems with anger
Ask
management
Bill the
or
warden.
emotional instability.
Blow your brains out. No.
6. Emotional abuse can also have physical side
It can
effects.
lead to cancer, heart disease,
Aside from the
failed
psychological
kidneys.
toll emotional abuse can take on you,
You need to
it can
die.
also
Remember,
leave you with
Satan
a
is the
lot of
destroyer.
physically painful side effects. The most common symptoms include chronic pain, chronic fatigue, muscle tension, insomnia,
And they
other
enjoy
physical
knowing you
symptoms
have
of
this.
stress,
That
such as
gives
low
them...
energy, nausea, chest pains, chest
I've
palpitations,
had the chest
and
pains.
headaches.
I've had the chest
Not
pains.
only that,
I've had severe chest pains and palpitations. But once I started learning how to deal with my stress, got the new job, and realized I'm taking more personal days to avoid that sort of, we need to hurt you crap, which is ridiculous. Anyway, my chest is better and my palpitations have gone down and my blood pressure pretty much up until today has, kind of gone down. I need to hurt you. I need you to die. Why? So I'll feel better about myself, but you won't feel better. You'll just keep being miserable and find a new target. It never ends.
but emotional abuse has been found to precede physical abuse in a large majority of cases. 7.
You
It puts
deserve
you
the
at
black
risk
eye.
for mental illness. People going through emotional abuse aren't likely
I've
to reach
learned how
out
to
to
use
others
my
and
mental
ask them for
illness
help because they often feel that their
to help
experiences are something
other
to be
people.
ashamed of,
There's
or
a Christian
dismissed,
idea.
or that they should deal with it on their own.
You actually care
But
about
the
other
longer
people?
the abuse goes on, the more likely you might be to resort to harmful ways of coping with your psychological.
What kind of weak, inferior moron likes to help other people? The Son of God?
And emotional distress. And this is why a lot of studies show that emotional abuse is a large contributing factor to the development of substance abuse and eating disorders in most people. And
Yeah,
yet,
been there.
it puts you at risk of becoming
eating.
an abuser yourself.
No.
Being a victim of emotional
Quite the
abuse
opposite
makes
for
you
me.
more likely to become an abuser yourself.
Or a
Because
protector.
everyone else is so quick to dismiss emotional abuse and make it seem like it's not really a big deal. You might be tempted to take your frustrations out on
Nope.
others. Or
gonna
reclaim
do
your sense
that.
of power by emotionally abusing someone else.
Help them.
Studies show that an
Go and help
alarming
'em.
majority of children who have been victims of abuse, be it physical or verbal, grow up to become abusers too later on in their lives. Do you relate to any of these points mentioned? If you were or currently are ever emotionally abused, it's important you understand that it wasn't and is not your fault.
I did a whole video on this.
No
It's a
one
good one.
deserves to be treated that way.
Yes,
Don't
you
hesitate to
do.
talk to a
You
friend or
deserve to
reach
be
out to a
hurt
mental
because
health
you
care
didn't tell me.
professional
You didn't
today
tell me
and
I'm
get
not
the help you
God,
need.
nerd.
If
don't
you
have a right
found
to
this
hurt
video
you,
helpful,
freaking
be sure to
loser.
like it and share this video with someone else who might benefit from it.
Okay, anyway, that's my review. Psych2Go has some pretty good stuff. I'll do, excuse me, I'll do another video of their review of theirs on narcissistic abuse. Anyway, let's go to straight 20 and have a good night, guys.